Hi everybody, my name is Zach and welcome to Camp TV. Are you ready for some summer fun? Me too! Now as your head counselor, I will be introducing you to all sorts of cool activities. Arts, crafts, games, math, and science, as well as some of my favorite books, nature, and theater. I will be here to take you from one activity to the next. So follow me on Camp TV.
This program was made possible in part by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people. Additional funding was provided by Joan Gans Cooney.
Camp TV, it's time for us to start. From furry animal encounters to summer reading and the arts. No matter what the weather, we'll explore it all together. It's a place for you and me. It's Camp TV. Good morning, Camp TVers. Are you ready for a little adventure? It's time to cram those backpacks and hit the great indoors because today is camping day on Camp TV. Okay, let's see. I think I've got all the essentials. I've got a reusable water bottle, a flashlight, a compass, Eddie the Teddy. It's go time. Okay, maybe I need to reconsider a thing. Or 12? While I repack, you enjoy our first activity of the day. A little birdie told me it's time to go wild.
Hi everyone, I'm Nikki.
And I'm Max.
And this is Poppy. Poppy is a binturong, also called a bear cat, even though she's not a bear or a cat. But they are very unique animals. Let's learn what makes a binturong special, the job that they do, and ways that we can help them. We're here in one of the classrooms at the Metvis Zoo, which is a great place for kids to learn and also a great place for our animals to learn. Poppy's been here at the zoo for most of her life, but she's still really young. She was born in September. She's learning how to be an ambassador, which means learning how to come out and be comfortable meeting all kinds of people to help spread the word about binturongs and ways that we can help them. So you're gonna get to see us do some training with her, do some playing with her, and just see Poppy show her stuff of being an excellent binturong.
Poppy here is actually only about 8 months old, and she weighs about 12 pounds, which is the equivalent of a gallon of paint. Now, Poppy here is actually going to get a lot bigger. She's only 8 months, as I just mentioned, but binturongs can live up to 15 years and get up to 75 pounds, which for an animal that spends most of their time climbing up in the trees is pretty heavy.
I did up, and then I tried to do wave. Oh, good girl, you did it, oh my gosh. Playing is really fun for our animals, and it's important. Play is just as important for the animals here at the zoo as they are for you guys there at home. So we want to make sure that our animals get to be physically active, their brains get to work, and having a good time with their keepers is a great way to do that.
As you can tell here, being an animal that lives or spends most of its time up in the trees, you got to be able to climb around those trees pretty well. And that's helpful when you have very sharp claws like Poppy the binturong here, and if you have a prehensile tail. Now, for those of you that don't know what a prehensile tail is, it's a tail that helps to grab onto things to give them balance when they're up in the trees. And the word prehensile is basically finger. It's a finger-like tail. Lots of monkeys have this, oh, thank you for helping. Lots of possums have this as well, and binturongs are actually the largest animal to have a prehensile tail. So when they're hanging out in the trees and they see a piece of fruit they really want to reach, they can grab onto a branch and lean even further to get that delicious, delicious food.
They love to nom nom anything they can find, from eggs to lizards to plants to shoots.
Even grapes.
Even grapes. In fact, fruit is their very favorite food. Most of their diet is made up of fruit, and that's really helpful for the rainforests where they live. When binturongs eat the fruit, they also eat the seed, and then a little bit later, it It comes out the other side in a nice little fertilizer packet, which means that that seed is spread somewhere else in the forest where it can grow nice and healthy. So binturongs are what are known as seed dispersers. They're super important because they're kind of like nature's farmers. They help spread plants around and keep them healthy and growing in new places in the forest. So Max, a lot of people want to know, if she's not a bear or a cat, why are binturongs called bear cats?
Well, a lot of people think that they look like a combination between a bear due to this really big fuzzy fur that they have and these short ears they have on their head, and a cat based on their very long tail. But they're not related to bears or cats. They're from a separate group of animals called viverrids. Another question that people like to ask is, do they really smell like movie popcorn?
I don't know, smell her. What's the verdict? I think she smells like Fritos.
She smells more like, maybe just the butter part, not so much the popcorn part.
I don't know what kind of butter you're eating. It's definitely a corn chip flavor.
What would be the benefit of smelling like Fritos then?
Binturongs are solitary in the wild, which means they like to live by themselves, but it's still important for them to be able to talk to each other and communicate. And the way they do that is through that smell. They have scent glands at the base of their tail and on their feet that allows them to mark where they've been to say, hey, other binturongs, I'm here in the forest. I'm around if you want to hang out cool. Otherwise, I'm going to be over here by myself eating some fruit.
Now, a lot of people also ask, with that big bushy fur coat, what does she feel like? What do you think she feels like, Nikki?
Well, she is a little bit coarse, but she's still pretty soft. Those furs that she has on her back are really thick. It allows her to have lots of protection as she's climbing around through those trees.
Do they bite? And here at the Memphis Zoo, we like to say that anything with the mouth can bite. And she does have very sharp teeth because she is an omnivore, so she does eat fruit, but has proteins like bugs and sometimes small rodents as well. So sharp teeth, she can bite. Has she ever bitten us out of aggression? No, she does not. However, we make sure that we respect her body language and never put her in a situation that would stress her out or make her scared as well. I think that is going to wrap it up for our creature feature today, but I want to thank you all so much for joining us. Let's take a quick moment to review some of the things that we learned today. First, we learned about binturongs and their lifestyles. We learned that there are boreal animals that like to live in various countries in Southeast Asia, and they have a really important role for helping the forest and the vegetation there to grow because they love to eat fruits since they are omnivores, and they poop out those seeds and cause those seeds to grow into more plants and trees. And lastly, and most importantly, we learned that we can help animals not just across the world, but in your own neighborhood by doing little things at home.
Thank you all for joining us to learn all about these really unique animals that have super important jobs and ways that you all can help them at home. Have a great day. Oh, looks like it's time to run. Bye, everyone.
Oh, you're just in time. I found the perfect spot to pitch my tent. So what I did is I took 3 chairs and I put them in the shape of a triangle, and then I put this sheet over it and let the sides drape down. And voila, Insta-tent. Shall we head inside? Now for the best part, to make it nice and cozy. Wow, between all the packing, hiking, canoeing across lakes, fending off bears, okay, they were teddy bears, but whatever, I could use a little rest. So why don't you head off to your next activity and I'll catch up with you. Soonish. Jump, dance, play. It's time to get active. Let's move.
Huh. Hey, how's it going? My name is Hasim Muhammad, and I am a teaching artist with the New Victory Theater. In addition to being a teaching artist, I am an actor and a multidisciplinary movement artist. We're here today in my living room in Inwood, New York. I'm here with my roommate, Dylan Bogus. Hey! You saw us juggling together in the intro video. We just want to say welcome to Arts Break and get ready because today we're going to teach you how to partner juggle. Okay, now it's time to learn the bread and butter of the circus, juggling. And I often like to teach juggling with a friend because this way you don't have so many objects to deal with by yourself, and instead you have a friend who can lend you a hand. So, first thing you'll need is a friend. You can also use one of your siblings, maybe get your parents involved. Second, and your parents can definitely help with this part, clear out a bit of space to use. We just want to make sure that we don't bump into anything as we're throwing and catching our objects. Which leads me to the third thing you'll need, objects to juggle with. Today, for the most part, we're going to be using juggling scarves. These can also be substituted for headscarves, washcloths, handkerchiefs, anything that's sort of thin and falls slowly. All right, let's get right to it. You and your partner should stand side by side, and I like to be real close, so I give my partner a hug. One partner will hold the scarf in their outside hand. The other partner's outside hand is also free. I'm holding an overhand grip, so that means my palm is facing down, and I'm pinching the scarf at the top. Now I get to toss it up to my partner. And they catch it in the overhand grip, and they'll toss it back, and I'll catch it. Notice, I'm throwing this sort of in a slanted line to my partner. Yeah, at an angle. That angle will come in handy later. So, once you're able to do that 5 or 6 times, you're ready to add in a second scarf. So, you and your partner each have a scarf in your outside hand. You're both throwing across to the other person, like this. If you notice, since we're both throwing across, it makes the shape of an X. Here we go. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Throw, throw, catch, catch. Once you're able to do that 8 times, 8 catches, that means 4 per person, you're ready to move on to 3 scarves. But go ahead and give it a try with 2. Now that we have 3 scarves, I'm going to hold one scarf in my pincher fingers, the other scarf in my bottom fingers of the same hand, and my partner has the 3rd scarf. Whoever has 2 scarves will start throwing first, and you throw back and forth. We'll stop on the 3rd catch. So my partner is only going to throw once for now. Watch, we'll show you what we mean. 1, 2, 3. And then they'll start. 1, 2, 3. If you notice in juggling, we count by the catches, not by the throws. Once you're able to do a few sets of 3 back and forth without dropping, let's say 4 or 5 times, you're ready to move on and make it continuous, like so. So continuously throwing and catching. Once you're able to do that 9 times, you've got it. You're a proficient partner juggler. Now, after you've given that some practice, I've got a few bonus things I'd love to show you. We'll start with the scarves again. So we'll get our pattern going, which is also known as a cascade. And when one partner is ready, you can try and throw a scarf under your leg. Yeah? One other bonus trick, which I like to do with my juggling balls, called columns. So it starts by throwing 2 balls in one hand. So one partner gets to juggle 2 balls, and the other partner matches the 3rd ball, like so. So it looks like the columns of a building flying into the air. Yeah? Now that you've got the basics of partner juggling down and a few tricks, you're ready to go out, well, stay in, and have fun.
Music, dance, magic, and more. Step right up to center stage.
Well, if you ever plan to motor west, just take my way, that's the highway, that's the best. Get your kicks on Route 66. Well, if I from Chicago to LA, more than 2,000 miles on the way. Get your kicks Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Boston, San Bernardino. If you can take this kind of trip and go take that California trip, say get your kicks on Route 66. To Missouri, Oklahoma City looks mighty pretty, you'll see. Amarillo, Gallup, New Mexico, Flagstaff, Arizona, don't forget Winona, Kingman, Boston, San Bernardino. Would you get hip to this kind of trip and go take that California trip? Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66. Get your kicks on Route 66.
While you were off at the last activity, I took a walk in the woods and I heard a noise. Not an, oh my gosh, what the heck was that? Get me out of here kind of noise. More like the pitter-patter of adorable padded little feet noise. And then I saw him. Well, at least I think it was him. The tiniest, cutest, most adorable, fluffy looking thing was staring right up at me. I blinked at him, he blinked at me. I'm telling you, it was like he was basically begging me to take him home with me. So I'm tempted to do just that. Sure, he might miss his friends, his family, his twig and acorn collection, but I love him. What do you think? Take him or leave him? You mull it over and I'll do the same. I'll meet you back here after the next activity. Arts and crafts? Yes, please. Let's get artsy.
Hi everyone, we're here at Brooklyn Children's Museum in Color Lab Art Studio. Today we are making piece boxes. What is a piece box? It is a container or a box that you can find in your home, and you redesign it using upcycled materials, and you fill it with reminders, objects, and images that will help you to feel at peace. It could be great to have a piece box in your home where you can reach into it at any point if you're feeling upset, or if you are feeling some sense of conflict, or you just want to feel more positive about your day. You can choose a reminder from your piece box that will help you to feel more at peace. Today we're going to make these items for you and with you, and I'm excited to show you how to do that.
curiosity, and wonder. Let's discover together. It's Science Wow!
Hello everyone, my name is Andrew and I am with the Liberty Science Center, which is located in Jersey City, New Jersey. Liberty Science Center is home to the Jennifer Chalsty Planetarium, the biggest planetarium in America. It looks a little something like this. Now, if you have never been to a planetarium before, it's like a really big theater where we talk all about space. And today we're going to be using the same technology that we use in the planetarium to bring astronomy to you. Today we'll be talking all about stars. We are going to begin today by looking outside on a nice sunny day. And do you see any stars in the sky right now? Well, we can just see one, the sun. It's very easy to forget, but the sun is a star. The same kinds of stars that we can see in our nighttime sky. Now, to see those stars at night, we do need to wait a little bit until after our sun has gone down. As that happens, it'll start to get dark enough to allow us to actually see the stars in the sky. And I want to give you a moment here to look out at these stars. Are all the stars you see right now the same? Or do you notice some things that are different about them? Yeah, you're exactly right. No two stars are exactly the same. There are some things, though, that all stars do have in common. So let's take a closer look at a star, right? Every star in the sky we can describe as a really, really big hot ball of gas. And looking inside of a star, we find the exact same things, gases at different temperatures. Now, the very center of the star, this spot right here, the core of the star, is where it generates all of its heat, its energy, and its light from. But there are still a couple things we can notice that are different about stars. Really, two things. With our eyes, we can see that all stars are different colors. We can also see that all stars are different brightnesses. So those are the two main differences we see between stars, their colors and their brightness. Now, what colors of stars can you find in the sky? Well, when I look, I can see a red star right over here. I can also see a blue star down here. I can find a white star over here and a yellow star over here. So those are the four main colors that stars come in. They can be red, they can be yellow, they can be white, and they can be blue. Now, each of these stars is a different color because they are different temperatures. Blue stars are the hottest colors of stars. Red stars are the coldest colors of stars. So when we look outside and see different colors of stars, it's all because they are different temperatures. Now, what about that second thing though, the brightnesses of stars? Well, that has a lot to do with how large stars are. Now, the sun is really, 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 really big. If we put the Earth up next to it, this is how big the Earth would look. About 1 million Earths could fit inside of the sun. There are many stars, though, that are smaller than our sun. But there are lots of other stars that are bigger than the sun. This star right here is called a blue giant. It's about 50 times the size of our sun. But stars get even bigger than this one. This kind of star is called a red supergiant and can be as much as 2,000 times the size of our sun. So all stars are also different sizes. And a big star looks brighter than a smaller star. Now, if the sun is smaller than many of the stars we see in the sky, why does it look so much brighter when we see it in the sky during the daytime? Compared to the other stars, when we see them, they look like just little faint dots of light in the sky. Well, that has everything to do with how far away these stars are from us. Now, the sun is by far the closest star to the Earth. The sun is about 93 million miles away. About 93 million miles away. The next closest star to us is a star named Proxima. Proxima. Just a word that means close. Now, Proxima is still very far from us, though. Proxima is about 25 trillion miles away. 25 trillion. And every other star we see in the sky is even further away from us than Proxima is. And the further a star is from us, the fainter that star will look. So now, when you look out at the nighttime sky, you'll be able to tell why stars look different. Stars get different colors because they are all different temperatures. Stars can get their brightnesses because they are different sizes or they're different distances away from us. So we've had some time today to explore stars that we see both at night and in the daytime. I do want to thank you for joining us today, and take care.
Music, dance, magic, and more. Step right up to center stage.
Hi everyone, my name is Nicole and I'm part of the education department at the New Victory Theater. I'm also a musician and a tap dancer. Today, I'm going to show you some fun ways to put together some rhythms and then learn how to put sentences to those rhythms. So we're going to learn about 4 different types of rhythmic notes. The first rhythmic note is called a quarter note. This one gets 1 beat. And when you see a quarter note, I want you to think of the word cat. 4 quarter notes in a row might sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, I go. Cat, 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 cat. Let's try it together. 1, 2, 3, we go. Cat, 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 cat. Nice job. The next type of note that we'll learn about, these are called eighth notes. Now 2 eighth notes put together, they make up the same amount of time as 1 quarter note. When you see eighth notes, I want you to think of the words ice cream. Let's try 4 of those eighth notes in a row. They're going to sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, I go. Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. And try it with me now. 1, 2, 3, we go. Ice cream, ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. Nice job. The next type of note that we'll learn about, these are called triplets. 3 triplet notes put together, they're going to be the same amount of time as 1 quarter note. When you see a triplet, as a group of triplets actually, you're going to think of the word chocolate, said exactly like that, kind of broken up. Can we try 4 chocolates or triplets in a row? It's going to sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, I go. Chocolate, 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 chocolate. Now try it with me. 1, 2, 3, we go. Chocolate, 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 chocolate. Nice. And finally, the last type of note that we'll learn about, these are called 16th notes. Now, a group of 4 16th notes, they're going to be the same amount of time as a quarter note. And when you see 16th notes, I want you to think of the word watermelon. Just like we said chocolate, we're going to say watermelon. Let's try 4 16th notes in a row. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, we go. Watermelon, 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 watermelon. Nice job. Let's try it one more time. 1, 2, 3, we go. Watermelon, 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 watermelon. Nice. Now, the way we put those rhythms to sentences is we take a look at how many syllables are in each of our words in our sentence. For example, watermelon. That has 4 syllables. So we're going to put them as 16th notes. But the word chocolate, that only has 3 syllables. So we'll put it as a triplet. Now the sentence that I came up with is, I like the New Victory Theater. I like the new. They all only have 1 syllable. So they each get a quarter note. However, the word victory, that has 3 syllables in it. So I put it as a triplet. And then the word theater, that has 2 syllables. So I put it as 2 eighth notes. My sentence sounds something like this. 1, 2, 3, I go. I like the new Victory Theater. Can you try my sentence with me? 1, 2, 3, we go. I like the new Victory Theater. Nice. Now, go ahead and create your own sentences and rhythms, and I can't wait to see what you come up with.
Daytime or nighttime, it's always time for story time.
Hello friends, I'm Johanna and I'm a librarian at the Brooklyn Public Library. This is New Favorites for New Cooks by Carolyn Fetterman, and I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite recipes inside. The author gives some tips about avocados. To tell if an avocado is ripe, do a little Goldilocks test. Gently pick it up with one hand. Is it rock hard? Definitely unripe. Does the skin seem to collapse in the flesh? Definitely overripe. If the avocado gives way under your fingers slightly, it is just right. For more recipes, see New Favorites for New Cooks by Carolyn Fetterman. Today, we're going to be making guacamole. So the things that you will need are 2 avocados, very ripe, cilantro, chives, a lime, a tiny tomato or quarter or a half of a larger tomato. We've got a big pinch of salt and a little pinch of pepper. The things that you're going to use today are a little plastic picnic knife, a scissors, you can use any scissors, and a reamer, which juices a lime. So, usually you cut an avocado this way. But I'm going to do it because we're using this little knife with these little teeth, which won't cut you. I'm going to cut it across the middle, which is just less to cut. And all you have to do is twist it. And it comes right apart. So now you can just peel off the skin of the avocado. Put it in your bowl. Now there's a pit here, and if we wanted to keep it neat, we would be really careful taking the pit out. But we don't really need to keep it neat because everything's going to get mushed. And I'm just going to move my fingers around and scoop out the avocado. And you could have taken the other half of the avocado that we peeled and you could have scooped it out that way too. So the next thing we're going to add is a lime. Now, I'm going to try to cut the lime in half with this knife, and I think it's going to work because you have to sort of saw it through. Yeah, takes a little effort, but you can get it done. So you could squeeze, squeeze, squeeze into the bowl, but an easier way to do it is to use this reamer or juicer. So I'm going to put it right in the center, and I'm going to twist it around, and you can see that the juice is coming off it. I'll show you a trick. If you want to get all the juice out of the lime, you can actually, once you've reamed it with the reamer, you can turn it inside out and then just press on the flesh of the lime to release more juice. Now we have a little tomato. And I'm going to twist off the stem, throw it out, and you can cut right through the tomato with this little knife. And you're going to try to get it into the smallest pieces that you can. And I'm going to keep it up like this because it's easier to cut through this side than it is to cut through the skin. So I'm going to cut it into slices. And then I'm going to cut those slices. And I'm holding my fingers away from the knife, even though it's small and can't cut you. It might scratch you. So I'm going to cut these pieces of tomato in the littlest pieces that I can. So they're all about 1/4 of an inch. And I'm gonna cut the rest of the tomato. And now we have the herbs. We have cilantro and we have chives. So what you're gonna do with the cilantro is you're gonna pick the leaves off of the stalk. Just put them down. And then you can just rip it up with your hands. Put that in there. Or you could actually use the scissors. Pieces might be a little bigger. Put that in there. Now we have the chives. Now chives have an oniony taste, but it's very mild. Doesn't taste too oniony. You can fold it over and over like this. And you could cut it. But again, actually, if you're comfortable using the scissors with a trusted adult watching you, you can just snip it off with the scissors into tiny pieces, like tiny little ants. And then you have to get them all together and put them in. Everything's in a bowl except for the salt and pepper. So I'm just gonna put those right in. And now we have the really fun part, which is mushing with your clean hands. You just mush through your fingers until everything's combined. And because the avocados are nice and ripe and soft, it's really easy to do this. And you can make it as chunky or as smooth as you like. I'm gonna put it. It tastes a lot better if you let it sit for about 10 minutes. So I'm gonna do that. We're gonna let it sit. Let's taste it with some chips. It's tangy from the lime and from the tomato, and it's creamy from the avocado, and it's a little salty, and it's just perfect for a snack any time of day. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Hi. So, I've thought long and hard about this, and I think I've come to the right decision. Have you ever heard the phrase, if you love something, set it free? Or at least don't trap it and drag it home? I think it's only fair and right that I leave the little fluff ball in its natural habitat. So, it's decided then. Wild animals do not make great pets, and Fluffball is staying put, where he belongs. Even if he is the cutest, tiniest, most adorable thing I've ever seen. At least I've got this. And we'll always have our memories. Ready for some math that counts? Count on!
I'm Joy from Bedtime Math. Today we're going to use some red and white squares to recreate some fun puzzles, and we may even race against the clock to see how fast we can shuffle these shapes. I've invited some of my friends to help me play these puzzles. I have my friend Peyton, Lindsay, Madison, Juliana, Samantha, and Kira. We'll need some supplies. Printouts for the white squares, the red squares, and the red and white squares. Printouts for the puzzles, and a pair of scissors. Don't worry if you don't have a printer at home. Later on in the show, I'll show you how to make all your own squares and puzzles. Let's start by cutting out our shapes. Let's do a couple puzzles together so we can be pros at shuffling our shapes. We'll start with this puzzle here. Now I like to go square by square across the row. So start here, just a solid white square. And which way should we turn this? It's a red and white one. Which way? Like that, yep. And this one is going to be the mirror image. And then another white square. Move here. Okay, which way should we turn this one? That's not it. Nope, not yet. There it is. Okay, and then, yep, that matches. We've made one side. And then one side here. So now we have the bottom. So let's continue and make the top. Now let's try another one. We'll do this checkerboard puzzle. So, starts with red. Now that we're pros at shuffling our shapes, let's have a race. Team 1, Lindsay, Kira, and Samantha, ready, set, go! Good job, players. Next team up is Juliana, Peyton, and Madison. Ready, set, go! Good job, teams. Let's see who shuffled those shapes the fastest. Team 1 shuffled its shapes in an average of 30 seconds. Team 2 shuffled its shapes in an average of 26 seconds. 30 minus 26 is 4 seconds. So Team 2 shuffled its shapes 4 seconds faster than Team 1. If you don't have a printer, you can gather some school supplies to make your own puzzles and squares. You'll need a pencil, crayons, paper, a ruler, and some scissors. Now that we have our supplies, let's make the grid for our puzzles. It's 4 rows of 4 squares each for 16 total squares. So you'll take your ruler, lay it like so on the paper, and make a dot at the 0 line, the 1 line, 2, 3, and 4. And repeat all the way around the square. Each time putting the 0 mark on the existing dot. And then we're gonna connect all of these dots to make our 4x4 grid. Take your crayon. I like red, but you can use any color you want and draw your design. Just like that. But you be creative and make whatever designs make you happy. The playing pieces are made in a similar way, except this time you'll mark your grid at 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8 to make 2-inch squares. Make one grid and leave it white for the white squares. Make a second grid and color it red for the red squares. Then make a third grid, but this time also make diagonal lines through each square to create the red and white pieces. You'll color the bottom triangle red in each square. You'll end up with 3 sheets of 16 squares each. Just cut them up and you're ready to play. I hope you had fun today shuffling your shapes. You can play alone, play with friends, play against a clock, or just have fun. Thanks for playing. Bye.
Who's ready for a field trip?
Hi everyone, my name's Mira and today I'm in the Discovery Garden. I'm going to show you 5 of my favorite plants that are growing here. Let's go check them out. This flower is called a snapdragon. Why do you think it's called a snapdragon? If you look closely, you can see its flowers almost look like a dragon's face. And if you squeeze the flower gently, its mouth can open and close. What does it look like to you? Does anyone know what this is? You might even have one in your kitchen right now. That's right, it's an onion. This round purple flower is called an allium, and it's in the same family as onions. While you could eat this flower, it probably doesn't taste as good as the one you find at the grocery store. This flower is called columbine. Hummingbirds love this flower. What about this flower do you think hummingbirds like? Hummingbirds love flowers with a tubular shape, where they could stick their beak inside to drink the sweet nectar. They also really like the color red. This plant is called magnolia. So this tree is making these big white flowers, and you can see how big they are next to my friend Jenny. This plant has been around for a really long time, since the time of the dinosaurs, and it's still around today. It attracts lots of bees and beetles. This plant is called rhododendron. This plant attracts lots of bees and other pollinators. It also has a pattern on the inside that shows pollinators where the sweet nectar is. Let's see if we can find any pollinators. Can you find a bee? Thank you so much for joining me in the Discovery Garden, and I hope you had fun learning about plants today. Bye for now.
Ready for some math that counts? Count on!
What does the But it's a classic.
Daytime or nighttime, it's always time for story time.
Hello out there. My name is Cherise White, Children's Librarian for the Classens Point branch of the New York Public Library. So I'm going to read the first few pages from Whoosh. Lonnie Johnson demonstrated persistence and had a passion for problem solving that became the cornerstone of his career as an engineer and his work with NASA. Every day brought a challenge for young Lonnie Johnson, the challenge of finding space for his stuff. 6 Johnson kids were squeezed into their parents' small house in Mobile, Alabama. Lonnie would have loved a workshop of his own, but there just wasn't room. There was nowhere to keep his rocket kits, bamboo shooters, rubber band guns, erector set, go-kart engine. Bolts and screws and other spare parts his dad let him bring in from the shed, and various other things he called back from the junkyard. Lonnie loved building and creating. Ideas for inventions just kept on flowing. Have you ever had an idea? Have you ever thought about following through on it? If you do, don't stop. He learned how to make rockets from scratch. Kids at school gathered to watch Lonnie launch them, and he learned how to make rocket fuel. When it caught fire in the kitchen, Lonnie's mom didn't make him stop. She just sent him to work outside. Lonnie wanted to spend his life designing things, building things, and getting them to work. He wanted to be an engineer. However, Lonnie took an exam that said he would not make a very good one. His dream had been challenged. Lonnie was discouraged. But he knew whoever had graded his test hadn't met Linux. Who's Linux? Let's find out. Inspired by a TV show, Lonnie had built his own robot. He made it out of scrap metal and named it Linux. I bet you're wondering what else he did with his life. Well, I'm going to let you find out by reading Whoosh, Lonnie Johnson's super soaking stream of inventions, which you'll find at the NYPO catalog. I bet you will like a second opinion. I know I told you that I love the book, but I got you covered. Here is Lanai Law, an artist, science enthusiast, and slime maker. Take it away, Lanai.
Hi, my name is Lanai. I'm in 3rd grade. I'm in Harlem Hebrew School. I'm entering 4th grade. I like the book Whoosh because on every page it says whoosh, and it also teaches that don't give up.
You can find Whoosh, Lonnie Johnson's super soaking stream of inventions, on our NYPO catalog. If you like easy to understand yet attention-grabbing books, you can also try Mr. Ferris and His Wheel by Katherine Gibbs Davis. And let's not forget about the girls. Girls Think of Everything. Stories of Ingenious Inventions by Women by Catherine Themesh.
Arts and crafts? Yes, please. Let's get artsy.
This program was made possible in part by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people. Additional funding was provided by Joan Gans Cooney. Content provided by these institutions.